Well, I've been at the forefront of that. About 2.5 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, we took a look at the plans for several schools in the county. And we realized that every plan, every emergency response plan for each school was different. So myself and the sheriff at that time spearheaded to get these school systems together and sit down at a table and take a look at our plans. So over about a year and a half, we were able to take a look at these plans and combine them to have one unified plan. Now there are some variations because buildings are different in each school system. There are some variations in the plan, but the basic response plan is the same. So we've got that down, number one. Number two, we have started taking all of our officers, and all of our officers are trained in the ALERT program, which is the national standard in active shooters. So all of our officers currently have been trained in ALERT, which is a huge step. So if something happens at a school, a business, or somewhere else, we are prepared to respond. We took the other city agencies in, and we've assisted them in that training as well. The third thing we're doing is we're taking a look at the schools themselves. We have PSLs in many of the schools in the county, and we're taking a look at the schools themselves and see if we can harden those targets. Keeping the doors locked, simple things like that. Putting something opaque on the window so you can't see through, things like that. Our PSLs do that on a daily basis. There's a new study out by the Secret Service called Threat Assessment. This came out, it's a new program the Secret Service came out with in 2018. I believe it was earlier this year. I'm not sure, I think it was July actually of 2018. It talks about threat assessment and setting up threat assessment groups in each school. I'm very interested in that program. I've done some research on it, and I think it's something we can implement here. When elected, that's what I plan on doing. I'd like to get that into each school in the county. Because it's not enough to respond to something, it's not enough to be prepared to respond to something and harden your target, but you need to stop things before they happen. And that's where this threat assessment program comes in. I believe it would be very successful here. The studies look at all of the other schools who have done this and other places who have done this, and it is successful. So that's one of my goals, is to implement that threat assessment piece of the safety program into the schools.
Well, most of the municipalities, Chilton, Kiel, well, Chilton has, the Sheriff's Department provides Chilton School District. Holstein has its own, Kiel has its own, and I believe Brilliant has its own police school liaison. I spent 12 years on the Board of Education with New Holstein, and I got to see both sides of the table, from the school district side and the law enforcement side. School safety isn't a one-size-fits-all. It's something that needs to be addressed by all the stakeholders, the administration in the school, the teachers, students, and parents, as well as law enforcement. You need to constantly be reviewing the safety plans and making adjustments accordingly. You need to practice those plans. You know, you have fire drills, you have tornado drills, and everybody knows what to do when those alarms go off. Well, we need to be able to have our staff and our students know what to do in the event of a school crisis incident, and be able to provide our school and staff and students the safest environment possible.